Hello, my name is Elena and welcome to my living room. We're going to sing a song together and it's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jesus Christ is Now Alive. I think that you'll know the tune, so you should be able to sing along, but it would be good if you could do some actions as well. Now, I can't really do actions and play guitar at the same time. What can we do about this? That's better. So follow me for the singing and follow me for the actions. Great, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus Christ is now alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He will never die again. That's great, we know it's true. He died for me, he died for you. And now he lives to be the King of you, the King of me. Think we can go a bit faster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus Christ is now alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He will never die again. That's great, we know it's true. He died for me, he died for you. And now he lives to be the King of you, the King of me. Can we go even faster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus Christ is now alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He will never die again. That's great, we know it's true. He died for me, he died for you. And now he lives to be the King of you, the King of me. Well done! Yay!
This is the story of a guy named Joseph. Joseph lived a long time ago, like in Bible times, and he had a good life. But Joseph was about to have a really bad day, like the worst day ever. See, Joseph's dad was named Jacob, and Jacob had a lot of sons. No, more than that. Keep going. There you go. 12. He had a full dozen, and that is a lot of mouths to feed. But of all of Jacob's sons, he loved Joseph the most. He was his dad's favorite son, and everybody knew it. He even gave Joseph a special fancy robe. They called it the coat of many colors because, well, it had many colors. Joseph got along well with his little brother Benjamin, but not so much with his 10 older brothers. They started to pick on him because they knew that he was their dad's favorite. Jealous much? But Joseph wasn't just special because he was his dad's favorite. God gave Joseph a unique gift, a talent. He spoke to Joseph through dreams, and Joseph was able to interpret what those dreams meant. Joseph had 2 dreams about himself. In the first dream, he and his brothers were bringing in bundles of wheat from the field. Suddenly, Joseph's bundle of wheat stood up in the middle, and all of his brothers' bundles circled around and bowed down to Joseph's bundle. In the second dream, he was in the sky, and the sun, moon, and 11 stars began to do just as the wheat had done. They all started bowing down to him. Well, those are some weird dreams, but Joseph was excited about them. So excited that he told his brothers about the dreams. His brothers, not so excited. They did not like the message that the dreams implied. "You think you're better than us?" they asked. So they came up with a plan to kill him. Yep, you heard me right. Actually kill him. They took Joseph out into a field out of sight from their father, and they stripped him of his coat, and then they threw him into a pit. You know, there's a reason they call them armpits. It's because pits stink. So Joseph was in this pit, looking up at his brothers who were trying to decide how to kill him, when a group of slave traders came traveling by. And this gave one of the brothers an idea. He said, "Instead of killing Joseph, let's sell him to these slave traders and make some money." So that's what they did. They sold their own brother for 20 pieces of silver. His entire life was turned upside down for a few coins. Like I said, worst day ever. Joseph, who was his father's favorite son and chosen by God to do great things, was suddenly sold as a slave by his jealous brothers. Big problem. But Joseph's story was not over. God had a plan and a purpose for his life that was bigger than anything he could possibly imagine. This is the rest of the story of Joseph. Now, Joseph had a big problem. One day, he was living in a house where he was the favorite son. Then the next day, he was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. But Joseph's situation was about to go from bad to worse. Well, actually from bad to not so bad to worse. The slave traders took Joseph to Egypt, where he was sold to a man by the name of Potiphar. In Potiphar's house, Joseph started off as a normal slave. But Joseph was such a good worker that Potiphar soon put Joseph in charge of his entire house. So, even though he was a slave, things were starting to look up. And then she came along. One day, when Potiphar wasn't around, his wife tried to get Joseph to do things with her that were wrong. But Joseph refused, and this made Potiphar's wife mad. Like, really mad. So mad that she got him thrown into prison. First the pit, now this? Joseph's getting thrown into a lot of things. But even in jail, God took care of Joseph. Soon the guards saw the same thing in him that Potiphar did, and they put Joseph in charge of the whole jail. So if Joseph was in jail, and he was put in charge of the jail, why didn't he let himself out of jail? Anyway, when he was in jail, two of Joseph's friends had dreams that they told him about. Remember how Joseph can interpret dreams? Well, that's what he did for his friends. It was good news for the king's servant. His dream meant that he was going to be freed, but not so much for the baker. He was going to be killed. What could a baker possibly do to deserve to be put to death? Did he burn the king's birthday cake or something? Anyway, everything that Joseph said would happen actually happened. His friend, the king's servant, was soon out of prison and back serving the king. And the baker, well, let's just say he baked his last cake. Then one day, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, started having some strange dreams himself. In the dream, there were 7 big, fat, healthy cows and 7 skinny, sickly cows. The 7 skinny cows ate the 7 fat cows. Why is everyone having such weird dreams? This dream was troubling Pharaoh, and no one could tell him what it meant. But the king's servant remembered Joseph's gift, so Pharaoh sent for Joseph to interpret his dream. Could work out great for Joseph, or it could be a disaster. Remember what happened to the baker? But God was with Joseph, and he showed him what the Pharaoh's dream meant. The 7 fat cows represented 7 years of really good crops. But after that, there was going to be 7 years of famine, where food was really hard to find. Pharaoh was so impressed with Joseph that he put Joseph in charge of all of the food in Egypt. And Joseph came up with a plan so that everyone could have enough food for the coming famine. Then, one day, Joseph's brothers showed up in Egypt to ask for help. They were going through a famine too, and they needed food to survive. Joseph recognized them right away, but they did not recognize him. When Joseph saw his brothers bowing down before him, he knew that he finally had a chance to get revenge on the very people who sold him as a slave. But instead, Joseph forgave his brothers. He invited them all to come live with him in Egypt. God took care of Joseph and used him to save his whole family. Even when things were at their worst, God still had a plan and a purpose for Joseph's life. The end.
Hi! We're going to sing a song about our very good God who loves and cares for us. It's called Clap Your Hands. Now I'm sure you already know how to clap your hands, but just in case you don't, you take one hand and the other hand and you hit them together and they make a sound like this. Hang on. That's not right. Oh, there we go. Okay, how about you clap along with me?